Shelby Howard is out of the car, and he'll make the mandatory trip to the infield care center. And there's the crew already at work on Brendan Gaughan's car. Could tell you the 73 of Derek Cope will get the lucky dog. That'll give us 25 cars back on the lead lap.
As I think, and watching that last run, if Carl Edwards is going to have a chance to win this race, I think he's going to have to pit with those guys here, get tires back on this thing again.
Well, our aerial coverage is brought to you by DirecTV. Learn how to win $1 million. Just go to directv.com/NASCAR. Thank you guys for the great pictures from high above the world's fastest half-mile track. Our 6th caution of the day, as we've had a total of 32 laps under caution now. And there's the mess that was a very good race car for Casey Kane back in the garage area.
Yeah, there's quite a few things stacked up against that team today. The engine running hot and had to make that pit stop and get back in the field, and then got caught up in this. Pit road is still closed for that cleanup. We're going to have to see what these leaders are going to do. Now, Greg Biffle needs to make a pit stop. His last stop was at lap 92. So he'll need to make one more pit stop. And we're going to see some of the cars that have made pit stops. Some of them can go the rest of the way, but will they stay out or will they pit here? It'll be interesting to see.
Well, and remember, we were talking about Casey Kane. He would restarted at 24th, 25th, I think it was. He is, when the crash happened, he was 5th. And Doc, you've caught up with him?
I have, and Casey has climbed out of the car. And Casey, I heard you apologizing to the crew. It didn't look like you had much of a reason to go anywhere.
No, I was entering on the top, and we were running pretty quick, not using a lot of brake. But as soon as it happened, I just hit the brakes, slowed down as quick as I could, and then as they were coming down the track, I was going down, and we just kind of all got together. But just circumstances where we were. We had a really fast Great Clips Toyota, and I couldn't get by the 6th. He's kind of running from the bottom to the top throughout just one corner. He was all over. So I gave him a nudge on the front stretch and broke the front end of the car, and then so it overheated. So we had to fix that. Then we go and we're coming back through and running good again, and that happened. So it's just a rough day, but we had a fast car.
Casey came from 24th all the way back to 5th. Vince.
The 12 of Justin Allgaier is in the box. They made a track bar adjustment back to where the car was set up originally because he was very fast in that first stint. He said it was way too tight the last 5 or 6 laps. Jamie.
And Greg Biffle was the leader. He has a little bit of fender damage from that run-in earlier on the track. 4 tires, no adjustments. He's thirsty, needs a drink, and that is the call for Greg Biffle. Dave?
Drew Blickensurfer said, let's force their hand. We're coming for 4. We're going to make a wedge adjustment just a little bit tight in the center of the corner, and then we'll let you race your way back through. Doc?
Add the 22 car in. That is Brad Keselowski. 4 tires are going to add some air pressure to the right side tires. The car just not getting the grip he wanted to try to get him back on him where he can very comfortable, though, in the middle of the corner. Want to get the car to be able to turn coming up off under throttle.
Well, let's take a look at the race off pit road, courtesy of Nationwide Insurance. Brad Keselowski picks up 2 spots. Good work for the 22 crew. Biffle, Allgaier each lose a spot. Carl picks up 2. And Mike Bliss, well, he drops 5 in that last round. Stay with us. Well, let's get caught up on what's happened so far with our 5-hour Energy Rapid Recap. And Brad Keselowski, as you can see right from the start of the race, having some issues. We found out later that the tire pressures were low and the car was sort of scuffing its way around the track. And then for Joe Gibbs Racing, who has never won here in the Nationwide Series, all of a sudden the 20 and the 18 got very racy as they kept moving towards the front. And Steve Wallace involved in this melee that also caught up Brian Scott as he gets turned by Scott Wimmer. And then there goes Colin Brown and Wallace right into him where he had nowhere to go. And then Casey Kane came back from overheating problems where they dropped all the way back to 24th position and ended up cooling the car down, and he got hot right up until this moment when he got swept up in another multi-car crash and unfortunately had fought his way back to 5th and now finds himself behind the wall. We're getting ready to go back to green. Let's set it for you. 4 cars stayed out. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Leffler, Townley, Menard, Those are the four that stayed out. The waiver rounds include Keller, Ponstein, McClure, and Josh Wise. And we're back to green flag racing here on lap number 197. Boy, and Stenhouse gets real high, and he is getting freight train on the right-hand side of your screen. Just say bye-bye. Race lead, give it to Leffler now in the 10. That gives us our 9th different leader. The record, I believe, I'm going to check it, I think it's 10, guys, so we may be closing in on a record. Here comes Brad Keselowski, Paul Menard, and Greg Biffle.
Brad Keselowski's crew did a great job getting him out there.
And we're going to get another caution, our 7th. We've got debris on the front stretch. So here at the Scotts Turf Builder 300, we've almost made it to the 2/3 mark of the race. And we are now looking at what will happen as far as this final stretch. Fuel should not be an issue for anybody. Tires seem to be wearing pretty doggone good. What do you think, crew chief?
Yeah, they're probably made their last pit stop, so we're going to see a lot of, like they'll see a lot of racing, and everybody's going to be trying to take more than they're giving here in this last part of this race, this last 100 laps.
And let me correct myself. It's a new record, 4 leaders, 9. The old record was 8. I was off by a couple. It gives us a moment to dial up our in-race reporter, Carl Edwards. Let's turn it over to you, DJ.
Hey, Carl, DJ, you have a copy?
4, but then I looked down the front because they were screaming about that, so that didn't work out quite like we needed it to. 10-4, yeah, I got you, DJ.
Hey, man, I'll make this kind of simple. Tell us about your car, the racetrack, and what you expect here in these last 100 laps.
Our Copart Fusion is good. It's better than our position right now. You know, as I slid through my pit stall, we only got 2 tires that last run, and we were still pretty competitive. So now we've got 4, and the track hasn't changed a lot. The track stayed pretty much the same. We just, got to have a good restart here, and if we can get up by a couple of these guys, I think we're going to be good.
Hey, Carl, we've seen making a pass on the inside be very difficult. Can you explain to our viewers what is making that so difficult?
Oh, well, they did such a great job with the racetrack. They made every lane. You're able to run the same speed in every lane. And so what happens when you run under someone, you get loose sometimes because of the air. It doesn't seem like we're going that fast, but the air is still a big part of it. And it just makes it hard to complete that pass. Plus, they get that little run off of the hill around the top, so it ends up being, exactly the same speed on top and bottom. Makes it hard to pass.
Hey, have you seen that safer barrier that they added, making any difference to the racing and what you have to do as a driver?
I saw it real well a couple times, but no, it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. If I didn't know it was there, I probably wouldn't have noticed the change. So if it's safer, that's good. Outside.
Okay, man. Good luck.
Hey, thanks a lot.
All right, let's also tell you that 28 of Kenny Wallace gets the lucky dog. That gives us 25 cars back on the lead lap. And Carl will restart in the 8th position behind Leffler, Brad Keselowski, Biffle, Menard, Allgaier, Townley, and Kyle Busch. How about Super Chef Jamie Oliver? You know who he is? Well, you will. He's coming to the unhealthiest city in America to start the ultimate food fight. And what he does here could change an entire nation. Jamie Oliver's Food Revolution. It's a 2-hour premiere Friday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. But a special sneak preview tomorrow at 10 Eastern right here on ABC. Lights out on the pace car. So Leffler gets the choice. And again, we're going to see him choose the outside lane.